Ladies and gentlemen, now that we've gotten a little bit more information about this leak, we can confidently say with 100% certainty that this entire story is pretty much the biggest nothing burger of all time. As we now know, these leaked messages didn't even contain any classified information, so for days now, the Democrats have been melting down about absolutely nothing in the most hypocritical way possible. And when I say hypocritical, I mean hypocritical. So we're going to break all of that hypocrisy down, but first, take a look at what President Trump's press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, had to say about the alleged confidentiality of these messages.
So what is it about what Pete Hegseth wrote that makes you say this is not classified?
Well, it's not just me saying that, Peter. It's the Secretary of Defense himself who is saying this as well. And he put out a very strong statement earlier today listing all of the things that were not included in that message that he sent to the group. And again, this message, there was no classified information transmitted. There were no war plans discussed. Why did The Atlantic downgrade their allegation about war plans to attack plans? They're now playing word games because they know this was sensationalist spin from a reporter who is well known for doing this. We have said all along no war plans were discussed, no classified material was sent. You have the Secretary of Defense saying that. You have the director of the CIA, the director of National Intelligence, the FBI director, all testifying to that under oath, and they should be trusted with that.
So folks, there you have it. Pretty much every single relevant government official has now testified under oath that none of this information was classified, which means the Democrats have been running with yet another fake news story. Folks, all of these absolutely unhinged far-left progressives in the media will latch on to absolutely anything, even if it's not even true, just so long as they think it'll make President Trump look bad. Now, Carolyn Leavitt actually flipped this entire fake news story back on the Democrats, and we're going to take a look at that here in just a moment. But first, I want to say real quick that if you guys enjoy the daily news coverage, consider subscribing to the channel because it really does help a ton with my daily struggle against the YouTube algorithm. But okay, check out how Carolyn Leavitt absolutely cooked these fake news reporters.
I would characterize this messaging thread as a policy discussion, a sensitive policy discussion, surely, amongst high-level cabinet officials and senior staff. And I'm so glad, Peter, that you said the American public can decide for themselves, because I think the American public should decide for themselves based on the outcome of this operation. And what happened in this operation? Terrorists that were allowed to run wild by the Biden administration were killed because of the direction and the determination of this president and his team. And this message also shows, this messaging thread also proved that President Trump has an incredibly dynamic team who is working incredibly hard, flying all over the world to secure world peace and to fix up the foreign policy crises that the previous administration left for this team to inherit.
And now, folks, that's just the reality. This entire problem with these Houthi terrorists blowing up ships in the Red Sea is directly because of Joe Biden's incompetent leadership. The Democrats sat around doing literally nothing while a bunch of terrorists shut down one of the most important shipping lanes in the entire world. They didn't try to negotiate or make any deals or even try to take out the terrorists. No, they just sat there for years doing literally nothing. And you know what? On that note, check this out.
And I would just add one more point. We are not going to be lectured about national security and American troops by Democrats and the mainstream media who turned the other cheek when the Biden administration, because of their incompetence, left 13 service members dead in Afghanistan, and not a single person in the previous administration was held accountable for that botched withdrawal. Joe Biden said, in fact, it was a great operation.
Folks, Press Secretary Leavitt just absolutely cooked the left-wing fake news media. And you know what? Here's the reality. Everything she just said is absolutely true. The Democrats, along with their talking heads in the progressive media, have a perfect record when it comes to ignoring the failures of the people on their own side of the political aisle. And as Carolyn Leavitt said, Biden's failure of a withdrawal from Afghanistan is a great example. But you know what's an even better example? Remember when Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had her own private email server in her basement that she housed classified emails on? Or how about this, when her campaign lead, John Podesta, had all of his classified emails leaked because he was using Gmail for classified government information? Yeah, all of that happened. And when it did, do you guys remember the left-wing media trying to hold them accountable? Yeah, absolutely not. Oh, and by the way, this is the very same left-wing media that did every single thing they possibly could to sweep the Hunter Biden laptop story underneath the rug. So hey, I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I'm getting just a little bit tired of all of this selective outrage coming from the progressives. Because we all know that the mistakes of the progressive left are 100 times worse than the mistakes of the conservative right. That much we can say with absolute certainty. So pardon me if I don't feel like getting gaslit into getting upset over something that literally doesn't matter. Because as we all know, when it comes down to it, all of this is just yet another hyper-partisan witch hunt coming from the progressive left. And you want to know why they're all going so hard about all of this? Because they have literally nothing else to talk about. As we all know, the Democratic Party's national approval ratings are in the absolute gutter right now. They're the least popular political party in United States history, but rather than have some introspection and actually work on their own issues, no, they just keep on attacking and alienating everyday Americans. So you know what? Considering all of that, this is really just yet another example of why the progressive left just keeps on losing. Rather than focus on actual issues that impact everyday Americans, they hypocritically screech and complain about everything the Republicans are doing. And so what it comes down to is this. As things stand right now, Americans have realized that if they want their elected government to actually make their lives better, which is kind of the point, as opposed to just endlessly virtue signaling all day, they need to vote for common sense conservatives. People are really just sick of all of the hypocritical, performative theatrics coming from the left. Make the country great again or shut up. Really, it's just that simple. And by the way, we all just saw firsthand for 4 years during the Biden era what this country really looks like under Democratic leadership. Under their leadership, this country was almost destroyed entirely. The country was being overrun with illegal immigrants, crime and drug use were through the roof, the economy was terrible, and we were giving more financial aid to foreigners living outside of the country than to actual Americans living inside of the country. And so really, the entire country is just done caring about the never-ending crying coming from the progressive left. And you know what? Between you and me, I think that's a good thing. Now, folks, before we wrap up with today's video, I want to say real quick that I've actually gone ahead and made a community Facebook page where I'll be posting additional news and updates as it relates to all of this stuff. So hey, if you guys use Facebook, check out the pinned comment down below and give that page a follow. But everyone, that is going to be a wrap for this video, so please go down below in the comment section and let me know what you think about all of this. Please like the video while you're down there. Like I said earlier, if you guys enjoy the daily news updates, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really, really does help a ton. Thank you all very much for tuning in today, and of course, as always, stay safe.